at a convenience store and bought cheese, Lucky Lager, and Point. Put it in the back of the car.
Nice.
Those were the days.
Those were the
It was
days.
like 1990, I think.
That was a while ago.
Sure was, Roger. That was 27 years ago. And that was the weekend I met Cheap Trick.
All of them or just the one?
I actually only met 2 of them, and Bunny Carlos stepped on my foot.
Did he say sorry?
I think he did. Yeah. I think he noticed. Kind of muttered an
It's
apology.
like, I didn't crush your foot completely.
Yeah. In Excess was there too. Bunny Carlos began the famous people who have stepped on Tom's foot club.
Nice.
That Wolf Blitzer is also a member of.
Ooh.
I actually was at the what airport? I was with Josh Lawrence, no less, and he didn't notice him, but I noticed Wolf Blitzer like over like on the seat waiting for the same flight. I didn't say anything to him though.
And then, oh shoot, no, I can't remember his name.
Mr. T.
He's out of the club if I can't remember his name. Can't be that famous.
Was he a sports star?
No, he's a tech blogger.
Oh, Ryan Block.
No, not Ryan Block.
Steve Kovac.
No, not Steve. I remember Steve.
Um,
No, Scoble. Robert Scoble.
Kovac.
Robert Scoble stepped on my foot at South by Southwest.
Oh. You should have said evangelist.
Yeah, I should have. All right. I should have said, would you care to start the show?
Let's do it.
Well, let's have Kyoshi start the show for us. Oh, wait, that's the wrong recording. I almost recorded on that. Here we go. Kyoshi, start the show.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you want to help out the Daily Tech News Show? Well, it's really easy. Just go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support and find out how. Thank you.
This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, July the 6th, 2017. I'm Tom Merritt, and Justin Robert Young is back. It's been a couple Thursdays since we did a Thursday. Of course, we got to talk at Nerdtacular last Friday, though.
Was it a couple? I thought it was just the one.
Well,
But
we missed last week's, and then I guess, yeah, that's just the one.
that's fine.
But it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks in the intervening. Only one
felt
Thursday.
like an eternity to me too, Tom.
That's right.
It's good to be back.
Today, we are going to wildly speculate. We have one of those stories that's rooted in enough reality, but without enough facts that we can responsibly wildly speculate. And I have a bet of what's happening between Amazon and Dish, Justin.
You think so, huh?
I think I've got an idea.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, we're going to get to talk about it. But first, we start with a few tech things you should know about. Uber's launching that ability to tip in the app that they promised in 121 cities in North America. Previously, it was being tested in just Seattle, Minneapolis, and Houston. Now it's available much wider. Tips can be left for up to 30 days after your trip.
You know, it's something that was a long time coming, and one of the differentiating points that Lyft always kind of had over Uber. So curious to see how much use it gets. And you noted in our little pre-meeting that the tip does not affect the rating that your driver gives you. They only find out about your tip after they have rated you whatever.
According to Sakani Wright, you rate the rider, then you find out if they tipped you.
The Nintendo Switch app is set to launch on July 21st, the same day as Splatoon 2. The app will provide lobbies, voice chat, stat tracking, and more for Splatoon 2. More features will come in 2018 along with the Switch's $20 a year online service.
So basically, it's a Splatoon app to launch, but then once you have it, it'll start adding more features as more features become available. Symantec will acquire Fireglass. It's a Tel Aviv, Israel-based company that specializes in something called browser isolation. This kind of uses a little bit of virtual machine type magic to allow corporate users to view any website they want without risking the rest of the network. Seems pretty important these days.
Ah, yes. So now you can leave your pesky employees to wander into whatever den of iniquities they can.
Malware warning. Who cares? I've got browser isolation.
Cancel. Motorola sent out invites to the press for an event in New York City on July 21st. The invite read, "You won't want to miss this," and an animated GIF of a rainbow-colored hallway. It's possibly going to be to introduce the Moto X4 phone.
I believe it's the 25th, not the 21st. Our apologies.
Oh, 25th. My bad.
Yeah. But probably going to be the Moto X4. That's going to be.
Hello, Moto.
Hello, Moto World is the hashtag. Pretty much guarantees it's a phone. Microsoft confirmed it plans to cut thousands of jobs as part of a reorganization. We talked previously about the leak that this was going to happen. Now it's official. Microsoft not saying the number, but CNBC reports that that number will be around 3,000, which would be 10% of Microsoft's workforce. Microsoft's last major reorganization took place about a year ago after former COO Kevin Turner left the company. This one is revolving around the shift to cloud. Microsoft's cloud and server business has been refueling up revenue recently, with server products and cloud services revenue up 15%, Azure revenue itself growing by 93% in the recent quarter. And with Windows, few enterprise level contracts, but mostly free to the rest of us. You don't really need a lot of Windows salespeople. You need a lot of Azure salespeople.
And that's ultimately what this is that Microsoft is transitioning from a company that sold Office suites and licenses to generate literally the rest of their entire business into something else. And these are the kind of moves that Wall Street very much recognizes and likes to celebrate. But you want to see Microsoft make this move now when nothing is on fire, but the tectonic plates are shifting, as opposed to when things get really bad and maybe they should have made this move 6 months to a year ago.
There's a lot of rumbling out there about what Microsoft thinks it should be and whether that vision is carrying on through the company. This is the kind of move that, at least from the outside and in aggregate, indicates that at least the executive level team believes they should be a cloud company.
Yeah. And considering where our entire society is going, I don't know how that proposition misses.
Yeah.
HMD Global, which makes phones under the Nokia brand, said Thursday it has partnered with Zeiss to develop lenses, hardwares, connections, and image software for phone.
Yes. Do you remember when Zeiss was partnered with Nokia before Nokia became a handset business that was sold off to Microsoft and then became a network infrastructure research business that then got the right to sell handsets again and contracted them out to HMD Global and then hired Zeiss Lens again?
I'll tell you, if you don't, you should take a picture. It'll last longer.
It's a cool story, isn't it? No, it really is fascinating to watch Nokia sort of reassemble itself like a broken replicator from Stargate or some such metaphor, like it just pulling pieces of itself back together. Not exactly the same, obviously HMD Global making them now instead of Nokia making them themselves, but they are hoping to recapture what had been left of their handset business, which they didn't need to do. They could have just been a network company and a research company and tried to make a go of it that way just fine.
Yeah, instead, here we go. Back to the future.
Google launched a new app called Blocks for the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift that lets users create 3D objects. So imagine Google's Tilt Brush, where you paint in VR, except for 3D. App makes it easy to create simple polygonal objects and then export them into augmented reality or virtual reality apps if you want. So it's fun for anybody to play around with this, but it's especially useful for developers who just want a quick, easy way to put together some objects they want to use in their apps.
So there were the new fascination in much of my tech Twitter has been following these AR kit demos that are coming out from all
Sure.
the OS.
Yeah. Ooh, another measuring tape. Very impressive.
Well, I mean, some of them have been.
They're very impressive. I'm kidding. They are very impressive.
Including one in which there was this magical portal in which you stepped through into an animated world. And you look at a tool like this where the idea is, hey, when you're in a virtual world, you will know what is super cool to build as you interact with it. So make it in a Vive, make it in a Rift, be able to export these modules that you can use for AR and VR. And to me, this is always Google at its best. Nobody does the tools like Google. Sometimes the final forms can, be either trying to please many masters or not quite to where other companies can get, but nobody makes the tools to fuel everything like Google does.
Yeah, and this is interesting because no Daydream version of this is HTC Vive and Oculus Rift. Doesn't mean it won't come to Daydream, but this is Google saying, where are the developers who can make the best use of this kind of tool? Let's make it for them and get them to use our development, because the more we get them in the tent, the more we can get them to use our other tools. And this is the brilliance of cross-platform. This is why Google's other efforts have worked in the past.
The Verge has sources that say that Facebook is working on a group video chat app called Bonfire that looks similar to the app House Party. The creators of Meerkat make House Party, and as of November of last year, it had 1.2 million users.
So Meerkat gets crushed by Periscope, which then fights for its life against Facebook Live. The Meerkat guys run into a corner, create House Party, get themselves a nice tidy sum of 1.2 million users, and then, like the Eye of Sauron, Facebook notices and starts honing in to destroy them.
Exactly. That little tap on their door was the ever-growing straw of Facebook as it sought to drink their milkshake. Is it almost, just even malignant by Facebook to call it Bonfire, like they are lighting your house party on fire?
I wonder. I did wonder about that. I'm not going to lie. It is the right thing for Facebook to do as a business, though. Whenever they see something that has a social aspect that gets people to gather together, because if you're not familiar with House Party, you're probably not a teenager. It's a way for people to do group chats where you don't have to get a formal invite. You just hang out. You see that people are hanging out on House Party, and you can pop in and hang out and see what's going on. And Facebook says, group activity, social networking, video app. That's our house. That is our sandwich. That is our milkshake. And we are not going to let anyone else come and eat and or drink it.
The only thing that is interesting here is you almost wonder whether or not this is Facebook just in, let's pull out a couple engineers. Let's see what they can do with it. Or is it, go to House Party, hey, we'll buy you for $15 and a ham sandwich. No, that's insulting. All right, cool. Let's peel off those 5 engineers.
Yeah. And don't forget, Facebook tried several times to create a Snapchat clone, and it didn't work until they finally started putting the features into Instagram and Facebook Messenger. Now, they haven't ruined Snapchat, but once they started doing that, people said, okay, this will work. So this may just be the first step towards this kind of feature showing up in Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Yeah,
because Facebook will always try. They will not always win.
Yeah.
So good news for House Party. There's a fair chance that Bonfire just will not catch on with their user base.
You might say it could just be a bonfire of the vanities.
It could indeed.
Researchers at Stanford and MIT have built a prototype chip made of sheets of 2D graphene formed into nanocylinders with resistive RAM, aka RRAM, layered over it. So, graphene, nanotechnology, carbon nanotubes, you've got so many good buzzwords in here, and it's real. It's 3D nanoelectronic system combined processor, RAM, and sensors into one chip. They were able to do a demonstration where they could have a sensor detect gas and immediately process it and store the data all in a single chip. Now, they don't use silicon. As I said, they use carbon. Using silicon would not allow the kind of interleaving of the memory and processing. So the big deal here is they're able to put the memory and the processor right next to each other on the chip, which gets rid of a lot of lag, really helps the bandwidth. And at the high temperatures required for silicon, once you laid down a silicon layer and tried to lay another silicon layer over it, the high temperature of the second layer would damage the bottom layer, but that doesn't happen with carbon because you can do it at lower temperatures. Anyway, the result of all of this, if you're like, I'm already confused, denser, faster, more power efficient chips, replacement for DRAM, replacement for processors, and it's CMOS compatible. That means fabrication and design can happen on existing infrastructure built for silicon. That's a big deal because a lot of these processor innovations get hung up on the cost of having to retool your fab. So fabrication can happen right on the existing machine. It's much more likely to get taken up. However, at this point, there's no commercialization yet. It's still in the lab.
But if and when it is commercialized, this is something that can continue to. It is kind of the breakthrough that we want, because there's been a lot of talk about the idea of Moore's law slowing down, right?
Yes, constantly for the past 20 years, but I think at an even higher level lately, saying, we've really reached max processor speed. Well, what this does is say, great, doesn't matter if your processor speed doesn't increase, if you can reduce the latency, if you can increase the efficiency, suddenly that same processor can do a lot more because it doesn't have to work as hard. It's right next to the RAM. The RAM is right there in the building with it. It's not down the street anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Hey, folks, if you want to get all the tech headlines each day in about 5 minutes, subscribe to dailytechheadlines.com. It's a podcast. It's an Amazon Echo flash briefing. It's an Anchor.fm show. It's the iPhone. Are you getting? No, it's not. But it is available in 3 ways.
It's a revolutionary internet communicator.
That's right. Go check it out, dailytechheadlines.com. Wall Street Journal reports Amazon's Jeff Bezos and Dish's Charlie Ergen have become best friends. That alone would be worth the Wall Street Journal article. But apparently, as they have formed this man love, they have been discussing partnership to enter the wireless business. Now, the sources are telling Wall Street Journal that the two have discussed 2 things: an Internet of Things network powered by Dish and connectivity plans sold through Amazon Prime. It's hard to tell from the sources whether those are connected, but it seems like they might be. Acquisition of Dish is considered highly unlikely, so you can get that out of your head right now. Doesn't look like Dish wants to sell to Amazon or Amazon wants to buy it. But this is not the first time that we've heard Amazon and Dish rumored to be in talks. This happened back in May as well. And one of the reasons, we've heard talks of Dish maybe wanting to partner up with Comcast, partner up with Spectrum. Dish has a bunch of spectrum, speaking of spectrum, that it has to use by 2020 or it faces losing some rights to it. So it's really valuable stuff. They don't have the money to get the ball rolling. That's why they need a partner. So, Justin, I have a theory of what is going on and why Dish and Amazon keep coming back, why Bezos and Ergen are becoming so good of friends these days.
EFFs, yeah. What's up?
I think Amazon wants to start offering more Internet of Things devices. I'm considering Amazon Echo line to be kind of an Internet of Things device, but they want to do more of that. They want to have Amazon branded cameras, door locks, sensors, all that stuff. And what they're talking to Dish about is, hey, could we build your network's Internet of Things connectivity into our devices? And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you don't pay anything for it. Buy a device from Amazon, connects to the internet for free. You don't got to do nothing. Amazon sees that as worth funding Dish's rollout, and then Dish has the network that they have a built-in client for, and maybe they can rent it out to other people as well.
So the benefit in your crazy scheme would be ease of setup, right? Because right now you are connecting it to your Wi-Fi. So this not only allows you to not go through whatever app program that you would need to do to set up, your new IoT door knocker to your Wi-Fi, as well as not making it dependent on your Wi-Fi staying up or you unplugging it, and now all of a sudden your door knocker doesn't work. And also you're able to go through your entire house, no matter what the stretch of your wireless connection is that you already have in your house.
And maybe it opens up some Internet of Things devices that are harder to pull off these days because they would need to be portable. So IoT devices for the car or for travel or for the airport or who knows what, but they don't have to be tethered to your Wi-Fi network. You can take them wherever you need to.
Is this the kind of breakthrough that has held down IoT devices since we have begun talking about them either as a geek curiosity or as the final parody of all Silicon Valley innovation at any cost, no matter how small?
I think it may be one of them. I don't even know if it's the most important one. I think a lot of it just has to do with people saying, my door lock's just fine. Why do I need a connected door lock?
Locks the hell out of my door, man.
Yeah.
Every day, rain or shine, it's locking it.
So proving the advantage to these things and making them easy is part of it. So making them easy doesn't just rely on connectivity. It relies on interface and can you talk to it instead of having to go into an app and pair it and all that stuff. Amazon Voice Services making it possible for you to talk to it. If they had connectivity built in, suddenly it's like, hey, all you got to do is turn it on. Now you get a lot more people interested.
This also, if this is true, gives, I think that for the first time, a real leg up to a line of IoT devices, just in general, because of what the Echo has done to become the central hub by being open and not necessarily being tied to anything. You can set up your Echo with pretty much anything else that you have that is internet connectable, as long as you're putting it on the same Wi-Fi network. And meanwhile, if it can connect easily with this device that most people who in this demo are already buying, and you don't have to, and the setup is even easier because you're not worrying about connecting it to any Wi-Fi, this could be a big thing. And also for Dish, like you said, Dish is running out of time on stuff like this. And who knows how long these kinds of talks have happened. And maybe it's just, hey, we got to get rolling on this because either this starts cooking now or we're running out of time to really set up and properly launch something that can use this spectrum.
Now, again, this is just my crazy idea. This is not what the Wall Street Journal sources are saying. But if it was going to be Amazon selling Internet of Things devices that connect to the Dish network, whether it's for free or not, it could help security. Because one of the problems with Internet of Things security is the manufacturers just not implementing it, which Amazon hopefully would be smart enough to fix. But the other thing is, it's got security on the device, but it's on a Wi-Fi network that isn't properly secured because guess what? Not every person who lives in a house is also a sysadmin. And if it has the internet connection built in, then that gives Amazon the ability to lock it down and say, look, it's not going to be on your Wi-Fi network, so don't worry about that part of the equation.
So here's the other thought. Right now, Amazon Prime is $99 a month. It was hiked up from $79 in 2014. If it came, like, how much do they have to load up the benefits of being a Prime member to get that to $120, or to get that higher than it is? Not to say that they would, right? I think that they like that price point of $99. Staying away from triple digits is probably the best possible thing. But, let's say Amazon wanted to get it to 110. Because at that scale, that is a tremendous hike for them. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they are far away if you plug in, benefits at Whole Foods or benefits, beyond what they're building their portfolio for. This is a really, really fascinating business model for them, where they have always had this idea of just give us money, we'll make it worth it. And we will always keep making it more and more and more worth it for when, and by the time that we hike the number, you'll be like, yeah, you want to know what? I was already getting enough out of it. And now I'm getting even more.
I think Amazon may look at it a different way, though. Amazon may look at it as, what's the number that maximizes people getting our service? And what are the services that we provide that make them spend money elsewhere? Right? So adding the Internet of Things service, were they to do that, my guess would be it would be a play to get people to buy the devices. and that's where they make the money. And then the devices probably will have some, as the Amazon Echoes do, way to make it easier to buy things from Amazon, including groceries that get shipped to you. A connected fridge, right, that automatically orders from Whole Foods to have the eggs delivered when it sees that the eggs are out, that kind of thing.
Nobody likes to buy a Ferrari and then lose the Ferrari to drive the Civic again, right? If Amazon can get you to live that IoT lifestyle where all you got to do is walk in like Star Trek and start barking at your lights to turn on at the certain kind of cues, and it always works, and it's always fast, and it's always snappy, and the way that it is always all those things is because you pay whatever you pay in Prime, man, that is one big psychological, every single day you use it reason to stay inside their ecosystem.
Yeah, no, that is very well put. That is very true. My weekly column on Patreon, which goes out to the folks at the $5 a month level, is about the fact that I discovered recently that I'm living in a smart home, and I didn't mean to. It's by accident. I just sort of looked around. I was like, huh. So I have smart light bulbs, and I have a couple Amazon Echoes that I can talk to, and they do things like turn the TV on and off, and I have an S-Cam to spy on the dogs, and holy crap, my home is almost automated. I don't have every piece covered, but this is the way it's going to happen. Amazon's just going to sell you a few things and a few other things, and then before you know it, suddenly everything's automated, and you're just talking to your pal Al about everything you want to do.
Yeah, this is interesting. And also two companies that I think are always prone to thinking a little bit outside the box in Dish and Amazon. So I'm excited to see where they go.
Well, thanks to everybody who participates in our subreddit. That's how we get a lot of these great ideas about what to talk about. Go in there and vote on the stories at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. Rob from Damascus, Maryland, has a differing take on the Amazon Echo, and it's not one that I disagree with. Rob says, today I listened to your discussion of the Echo and wanted to point out that over time it has become a bit less discerning in its interpretation of my instructions. I've had one since the beta days, and I have many in my house. I'm a huge fan, even though outside of shopping, I tend to spend more time in the Google ecosystem. I believe that as they've added features, I read that there are now 15,000 skills available, they're crowding the headspace inside Alexa person's cognitive functions, and with so many possible outcomes, a misinterpretation is more likely. It's frustrating that while I could once just say, play WAMU, the local NPR station, it now has to be play WAMU from TuneIn, or risk getting some random iHeartRadio station instead. I keep providing feedback, but I don't see it getting better. I still may give the new video product a go, though the ones to tell you you've dressed like a fool is a bit much, in my opinion. I'm right there with you, Rob. Play BBC World Service used to work fine. Then I had to start saying play BBC News World Service. Then suddenly that just stopped working and I had to go launch it from the app. And then this week it's back to working again by just saying World Service. So I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, Amazon is a fascinating company when it comes to hardware. There is enough that just works on the Echo that I think it will always kind of retain its core popularity, but I do believe that it has hampered itself in terms of being more than what people use it kind of right out of the box because its UI is so slippery. As to the other devices, I think the Amazon look or the Echo look, as well as the Home with the little screen, are both very emblematic of Amazon's hardware strategy. It's something popular. Let's come out with a billion different versions of it. We'll throw them all at the wall. We know that we can probably sell enough that we're not going to take a bath on it if it does really, really poorly. We know we can push it about as far as it can humanly be pushed by our algorithms. But we're not going to cry over spilt milk if nobody talks about these things again, and they are just savaged by the reviews, for which both of them have had a pretty thorough beating, speaking of their video and their look versions of Echo. So, but at the same time, they don't cry, they don't linger on it and try to pretend that it's a gigantic success. They move on to the next thing.
Yeah. And it's early days. We've heard about Alibaba making a smart speaker. We heard about Samsung making a smart speaker with Bixby. Obviously, Apple's got the HomePod coming. We're just heating up with all of this smart speaker stuff. Google Home is better than the Echo at a lot of things. Its voice recognition is superior. Some of its assistant functions are way better than the Skills Marketplace. But then again, a friend of mine emailed today and was like, why can't I make a call from my Google Home device? When is that coming? And I said, I haven't heard either. So we aren't yet to the point where we can really compare apples and oranges here about all these things. But this is the year of the smart speaker. It may not be the year of the smart speaker, but this is definitely, the smart speaker is coming into its own right now.
It's having its time in the sun, and we will find out whether or not it is, I think many are hoping that it is a phone or a tablet market, although this doesn't seem like the kind of thing that you would want to swap out every year. But at the same time, we will see exactly where it goes.
Well, thank you, Justin Robert Young, as always. What do you have going on with your Anchor News game?
Action News is indeed. It's fine. It is on, folks. Action News. I've been teasing it for months. The teasing is over. You guys can go check it out right now. ActionNewsGame.com. Again, ActionNewsGame.com. At Nerdtacular, not but a week ago, we funded within 3 hours. Thank you to I am positive so many of the Daily Tech News faithful that came out and backed it immediately. But as is the gift and the curse of launching at Nerdtacular, which takes place on July 4th weekend, we immediately went into this black hole, and now we got to rebuild all our momentum. So I would love it and appreciate it if everybody who is listening to my voice right now could please go ahead and check it out. That is actionnewsgame.com. You can get a link to our Kickstarter right there, or just search for Action News right on Kickstarter itself. Our next, we already smashed 2 stretch goals. Our next stretch goal will be at 750 backers. We're at a little over 600 now. So go ahead and check it out. We've got all sorts of crazy stuff, including combo packs where you can also get the Contender as well as the crossover expansion. And one of the unlocked stretch goals was our viewer discretion advised pack. So many people have said that the blue cards and Contenders, the curse words, the one that you want to pull out when grandma comes over, they're the best part of the game, and now they are unlocked for this game. So go ahead and adjust your pledge if you want them. Otherwise, it would warm my heart if you guys went on your Facebooks, went on your Twitters, went on your Google Pluses and your Orkuts to go ahead and let everybody know that actionnewsgame.com is live as we speak.
I wish Orkut were there for you to do that.
Go back in time.
Go back in time. Go to archive.org.
Go to Brazil. Wait, is it also out in Brazil too?
No, I think they shut it down. I think it's all
or
gone.
Brazil.
Yeah. But Brazilians can use other ways to tell people about
shipping.
Action News.
Action News, shipping all around the world.
Hey, everybody. You heard me mention that column. I do a weekly exclusive column for the patrons at patreon.com/DTNS. You have to be at the $5 a month level. That's 25 cents a show. So if you wouldn't begrudge me a quarter for each of these episodes, you can go sign up or up your level there, patreon.com/DTNS. You'll get a weekly update which recaps all the news of the week in printed form, like a newsletter, and that exclusive column, as well as the exclusive full RSS feed and much, much more. Check it out, patreon.com/DTNS. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. We're live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 20:30 UTC at alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. We're at facebook.com/dailytechnewsshow, and our website is dailytechnewsshow.com. Going to hear about Dan Patterson's trip to Ukraine on tomorrow's show. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Yeah, so start that GeoCities fan page, folks. Orkut. I used to love Orkut.
Yeah. No, I remember. I think it was in the Plex book. They tell the whole story of how Orkut was internally not a huge success for them, and then they as they were looking at shutting it down, they realized that it had become so popular in Brazil, largely because one of the things that hampered it in the first world countries, well, not to say that Brazil is the first world country, fastest growing country in South America, but the internet there was so slow for everything that nobody really noticed that Orkut loaded as slow as it did, because it was just kind of like everything else.
That's amazing. Hey, Todd Whitehead is hitting me up here. He's blowing up my BlackBerry.
Oh, what up?
Just to keep the retro feel going. Full auto on air went smoothly today. Let listeners know that what channel DTNS will be on is now a variable based on who's streaming at any given moment. So just point your browser at alphageekradio.com and choose live radio if you want to listen along. Yeah. Going live on YouTube Hangout should automatically trigger radio simulcast now. Woohoo!
Awesome.
Titles?
Yes. What do we got for titles, Roger?
Bonfire of the Inanity.
Of the
DTNS
Inanity.
Brings the heat. Tom's Crazy Scheme. Amazon's Plate Full of Things. Facebook's Bonfire Breaks Up House Party. Amazon dishes up connected devices, or Amazon dishes up more connections. Smart Home gains merit. Microsoft's head in the clouds. Nokia's T1000. I think that's a reference to Terminator. The liquid metal Terminator played by, what's his name? Patrick something. The RAM is in the building. The dish runs away with the Amazon. Bezos and Urgent sitting in a tree. D-I-S-H-I-N-G.
Nice.
Symantec is on fire.
Symantec's on fire.
The Irish Storm moves to destroy house power party. Facebook Bonfire breaks up house party. Party. But. Too many butts.
But.
Oops. Tom automated again. Bonfire of the Inanity is at the top still.
Yeah, is that your favorite?
I like it.
What's your favorite?
What is the place we do the show titles at? I'm blanking.
Showbot.tv.
Jesus Christ.
Go away for one little weekend.
Oh, I have to ask you a question immediately after we're off the air, Justin.
You got it.
Viewer discretion advised.
Viewer discretion not allowed.
All right, guys. I'm going to be right back.
Be right back. You don't have a title thought, do you?
I like Bonfire of the Inanity.
All right.
I will be right back.
By popular acclaim, Bonfire of the Inanity will be our headline. And so, my friends, I bring the show to a close. Thank you. All right, there we go. Bonfire of the Inanity it is. I'm exporting now. Woo-hoo-hoo. TVZ Gun says that Patrick and his scarf are going to be in Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. What? He did not tell me this. Let me see. Oh, I get it.
Wait,
Picture
what?
from Nerdtacular. You have to click on the link from TVZ Gun. That's pretty good. Dark Redeemer has a hat trick on titles this week. Nice. Possible to get all 5 because we only had 4 shows. Or we will only have had 4 shows.
Copy this.
Copy that.
Into paste bin.
Roger. Yeah, I'm really excited about Dan Patterson. If you want to brush up ahead of time for his appearance, he's got a Tech Republic article called "Ukraine is a Testbed for Global Cyber Attacks That Will Target Major Infrastructure." And he actually went to Kiev and researched the story. So he's going to tell us a little more about it. And you can read all about it on techrepublic.com.
Pretty good.
Wow, he's even got some Cyrillic in his article. I'm impressed.
Can you still read it, Tom?
I can, although I closed the page. Hold on, because it went to an ad. Let me see. Where is that? Where is that part? It was P something. Podgorod. No, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
No, I can't find it. Oh, well. No, it's in here somewhere. It's a good article, though. If you read it, you'll find it. Then you can send me a screen cap.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. I'm trying to find some Cyrillic in Dan Patterson's article that we're doing for tomorrow's show.
Oh, really?
And now I can't find it. I swear I just saw it. No, not James Patterson.
I'm James Patterson. Buy my book.
That'd be pretty good.
Buy my book. I watched a TV show based on one of his novels. I was very disappointed.
Were you a fan of the book?
No, I had actually never read the book. I try to avoid books with his name on it. I'm sure some of them are good, but
Yeah, no need to hate.
I remember when they made fun of him, or at least kind of riffed on him on SNL when they had Al Pacino, Robert De Niro as like an author. It's like, buy my books, and they listed like 20 some odd books in the whole like TVA. It was funny.
Yeah, I kind of have a lot of
Respect.
oh yeah, huge amount of respect for him. I mean,
No. I have respect for him. It's just like if I see his name, I won't read it.
Roger's respect has limits, apparently.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can't name a book that I have read, right? But that dude has had like 60 something #1 bestsellers, like, and he's got his own little,
No,
factory.
he is a successful guy, and he's earned his success. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying I don't read his book.
Well, yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, I don't either.
I think I may have read one once.
But I mean, I guess like that's the thing is that I think it is almost dismissive to say like, yeah, he's a talented author because I mean, I don't know, I ain't never read his book, so I wouldn't be able to say. But you can't argue with like his success, even if it's understood to be he comes up with a story, somebody else writes the book, they both put their name on the book, but his is bigger. Has led to just, I mean, who else has 60 something #1 bestsellers, right?
Back when I worked at the used bookstore, you had 3 categories for most books. You'd pay 10%, 15%, or 20% of what we were going to sell it for, based on how fast you thought it was going to sell. Now, if something was a brand new hot bestseller, like Bridges of Madison County was when it first came out, then you might pay above 20%. And if something was just never going to sell, you wouldn't pay anything. But that was the main categories were 10, 15, 20. James Patterson was a solid 20%.
Yeah.
Every time. Every book, every time.
Well, you know what I think he realized, and I think he was ahead of his time on it, which is his readers read faster than it is understood by publishers or authors to create books.
Mm-hmm.
It's looked at as unseemly, or at least it has been in the past, as unseemly to come out with more than X amount of books a year, right? And yet, people who are your biggest fans, burn through these, especially these thrillers. They just rip through them at like, a book every day and a half kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
No, because it was there was literature and there was pulp fiction, and then Philip K. Dick and a bunch of mystery writers and science fiction writers, even Asimov, came out of the pulp fiction world, and people are like, hey, what they write's actually really good.
Yeah.
And that kind of opened the door for people like James Patterson to be like, yeah, I can write really fast and still not be thought of as pulp fiction.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories that James Randi ever told me was about Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov. Did I say that? Yeah, it was the way.
One of those. I saw it on Anchor News. So
on Anchor News, right? Yeah,
it's fine.
He calls Asimov, hang out or something, right? They're both
okay.
And
it's pretty baller right there. But yeah, all right.
Yeah, no. Well, they were friends, and I'll tell you what, man. I really wish if there's one do-over I could have in my life, it would be to do the James Randi podcast again, because I did one with him. And like, I was so wet behind the ears. I did no research. It was literally just the idea of like, just get all these James Randi stories on tape, because he's got a million stories about everybody, right? And he's such a great storyteller. Anywho, so Asimov calls Asimov, and he assumes Asimov is somewhere, which was more in fashion at the time, near a like a ticker tape or something, because he just hears this like snapping in the background, asking him, hey man, what do you want to do? You want to go to lunch? He's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm feeling. I mean, maybe we'll go down and get a sandwich. He's like, oh, we could go to the deli though. They got a good meatloaf. And so he's having this conversation with him, average run of the mill conversation, but just back and forth. And he keeps hearing this kind of tapping. He's like, Isaac, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm writing. It's like, what do you mean you're writing? It's like, oh, you're just talking to me on the phone, like making lunch plans and writing at the same time? Like, you didn't stop? He's like, no, why would I? It's like, oh my God. Just
that's what's happened. When you hear me making noise, when Justin and I talk on his Twitch stream, I'm totally writing Asimov level fiction. That's exactly what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. A man who has defined fiction.
My God, that's
just
insane.
Banging stuff out. I mean, you look at the prolific nature of him, and ultimately that's really what the problem with that kind of output is, that it violates this narrative that all novels are works of art that need.
Right.
You mean they're crafted slowly?
Lifetimes to hone.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the whole kind of mystique behind small batch, handcrafted, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not mass produced. It's not, I wouldn't say thoughtlessly, but it's kind of almost a careless abandon to shove it out. No, it's thoughtfully, looked over, and someone's very pensive about like writing a chapter. You gotta, these good things take time. I mean, right? Isn't that the whole thing?
And in all of those, it's not to say that taking time doesn't make something better, because it often does. But I think it's to say that taking time isn't the definitive factor in whether something's good or not.
Well, I mean, it depends on who's writing it, right?
Exactly.
Or would you go up to Isaac Asimov and say, no, this is not ready for another 6 to 8 months? No,
you did that too fast, Isaac. Go back to your room and work on it for another 6 years.
Come up with some new laws for these robots you have here.
I know. Come on. What is it? 3? We can at least get up to 5.
You're slacking here.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, if you're Isaac Asimov and you write something good, then it's good. Doesn't matter how long it took. However, you're putting out crap, then maybe you should take more time and care. Maybe that'll help. But also, on the other end of the spectrum, just taking a long time to do something doesn't make it good either.
No. How many of these ponderous urban fantasy world building, sidewinded nonsense novels do you have to read to be like, all right, well, maybe this world's a little too built. Maybe we didn't need every little dips and doodle on the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
well, I think there's a tendency for cramming too much. People want to fill to the brim when it's not always necessary. I mean, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry.
no, sorry. I was about to say like, who's that techno thrill? Tom Clancy, right? Like he's always. I mean, I should used to come because he's passed away. From a very I want a very detailed the operate. For example, Hunt for the Red October. It's very detailed understanding of the ship or the submarine that you're in, because that's part of the allure, the attraction of those books, is to kind of feel that world that he's created. For other things, I mean, it depends. If you're talking about or if you're writing a book about a struggle of a son trying to come out from underneath the shadow of an overbearing father, you don't necessarily need to have every detail of the small town he grew up in, or maybe you do. I mean, it's really context, I think.
Yeah. Douglas Adams made fun of American authors for all of that, the details of how they made their breakfast and everything. Well, gentlemen, we are published. We are out there on the internet. So thank you all for joining us, for being with us. Take care of each other, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.